Hello, and welcome to this very special episode of the Mediate Podcast.
What timeline is this podcast a part of? And by that I mean, is it Mediate? Is it part of Films of 2018?
It's kind of a fusion of the middle. I don't know, because we've never done just me and you, Tony. This is unique. Anyway, as you can see by the title,
cut the filler out of the podcast. You know?
Just get the two most contrasted people, stick them in, cut the rest. Anyway, as you can tell by the title, this is Avengers Infinity War. If any of our podcasts are going to get more than 2 views, it'll be this one. So we might get 3 on this one.
Oh, that'd be good. How many dislikes though?
Oh, I don't know. Depends what kind of Marvel Disney shills we are. But yeah,
we've cut the contractors from the podcast, right? I don't know when John is going to see it, but I know Ethan would be as sold on it as we are.
Yeah, Ethan's is definitely going to give it a 7. I think Johnny probably would as well. So
I feel like Ethan would give it less than a 7.
Do you think? All right, we'll get into that. So I think what we should do is I think we should talk a little bit before about like just how much we like Infinity War. You know what we're expecting before the film, and then try and do spoiler free. Think just things that are in the trailer.
Bit where we say
nothing beyond the first 5. You know,
spoilers.
And then we'll try and go through the film, I guess.
Yeah, as much as we remember of it from like 14 hours ago when we started watching it.
We should clarify, we have seen it only once, at midnight. So
the ideal time.
We'll probably get a lot wrong.
Could have just seen it at a regular time.
Like I was scrolling on Facebook and I saw someone comment something, which I obviously can't say now because potential spoilers. And it was like a callback that I'd completely missed from Civil War. Like it's just a tiniest callback. And I was just like, oh my god, that's such a great character continuity that I just didn't pick up on.
Yeah, this film is very dense, despite being as long as it is.
I think my Letterboxd review was, this film is 3 films and I love all of them. Each act is a film unto itself. It's like there's a lot going on here. So right, we're both Infinity War fans, right?
Yeah, I really like Infinity War.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna ask you the big one right now. Is Endgame better than Infinity War?
Well, that's the thing. I feel like Endgame. All right, this is going to be a bit of a harsh comparison. I don't mean it in like the extent, but like Return of the Jedi, like wasn't as good as the earlier ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
But because it was the conclusion to that, all the stuff that had been set up before almost didn't need to be as strong in that sense because it just has the payoff of so many other things in it. Yeah. You're just enjoying it. So, I don't know, technically as standalone, even though Infinity War is the dumbest film ever to rate as standalone, I think it's better. But with Endgame, it was just so much cool shit that I've been waiting like 11 years to see, you know?
Yeah, this is definitely the payoff of them. I think Infinity War works better as like a standalone film. Yeah. You could show someone who's seen 2 or 3 Marvel films in Infinity War.
I suppose you should.
And they can
but you shouldn't, though. You shouldn't, because it makes sense as like the 2 films that sort of end the saga. Like I know does Captain Marvel technically happen like in between them?
Well, I don't know. There's the post-credit scene of Captain Marvel. I mean, is set before the start of Endgame, I think.
Okay.
Well,
that's the one confusing one, and also,
we'll get into that in spoilers, I guess.
Okay.
We're not talking around things. But yeah, I mean, we watched Infinity War before Endgame. You know, I'm a big Infinity War fan. I've seen it a ton of times. I honestly think I don't mean this in a bad. I feel like I'm kind of done with Infinity War now because like all the questions that had asked have been answered. I feel like
I'm done with the MCU now.
Yeah.
I feel like I never need to watch another one again. And like I probably will if it reveals like, hey, you know, Far From Home is actually, you know, good, which it probably will be. That's the thing. Like they make consistently films that are just worth seeing, but I don't feel compelled to anymore. I feel complete. I feel satisfied with my life because of Endgame.
You're like Thanos. You're sitting on that planet at the end of Infinity War. You know.
Yeah.
You're already. I mean, I kind of agree. I feel like this film is such a kind of good conclusion that I'm probably not going to midnight any of the other ones. I'll just go see them like a few days after they're out, you know.
Yeah, I think it is interesting how they made it such a conclusive, like, here's if you want it. I suppose it's because the branding around it is sort of this segment of the MCU is called the Infinity Saga, right? And so they wanted to like have like a full stop sort of ending to it.
Except the actual ending of the Infinity Saga is Spider-Man Far From Home.
Well, no, that's the thing. Like,
End of phase 3.
but then there's also like a sort of overlap with the fact that the other films, like Black Panther, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, are getting sequels, which I assume is either like a weird midpoint or the beginning of the next thing. You know, Young Avengers, Avengers 2.
I mean, all those sequels are going to have to be prequels, because of course at the end of Infinity War everyone got dusted, you know, and they died, so... I mean,
we already knew that those films were coming out as we were watching Infinity War.
They were prequels, aren't they? Come on.
It could be. I mean, I actually don't know.
Does everyone come back in Endgame? Who knows? I mean, we can't say yet.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Could go either way.
I feel like Far From Home is going to get shafted in the same way Ant-Man does, because Ant-Man is the end of phase 2.
It already got shafted by Sony wanting the trailer to be out like now.
Yeah, but the fact that Ant-Man's the end of phase 2, and then this is going to be the end of phase 3, it's going to feel a little bit tacked on, because this is like the perfect full stop. It's going to feel like a footnote, I guess. But
a little epilogue.
I don't know. I think I do. Infinity War is a great film. This just. I think I prefer this. I need to see it again. It's very fan servicey.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like,
I'll say that.
It is. It is just like, ooh, what would you want to see happen? That. Yeah. And it's amazing. It's the best film ever made.
Infinity War kind of it's very much a sequel to that, in that like they work together as one big film. If you want to watch it like as separate, they stand alone separate. Infinity War stands alone. This does not. This is very much you have to watch it after Infinity War. Lines from Infinity War come back and pay off here. You know, because I won't say what I was going to say there. It did benefit from having a year between the films. So I don't know if watching them back to back you'll get the same payoffs.
I think in this one almost more so than Infinity War benefits from having seen like all of the MCU though, like having like an in-depth knowledge. Like if you've seen fucking what's it called, like what's the Peggy TV show?
Agent Carter.
Agent Carter. Have you seen Agent Carter? There's payoff with this film.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of it's hard.
I say payoff. You know, a little cameo, keeping your eyes open. It's
hard to talk about without spoiling things, but like I kind of got a gist of what the plot would be because of the reviews were like, you know, it's like a greatest hits compilation at times, and I think that's quite a good way to describe it. It's almost Return of the King-ish in its ending, and its second act is very much look how good we are, look how many in jokes we can cram in. I can see that second act really losing people who are Marvel fans.
Yeah,
because like I was laughing
a lot of
my head
things
off.
are very like subtle nods to. I say
there are some subtle nods. There are some like
there are some
film.
There are some overt nods.
Okay, obviously now I'm just going to talk about the worst scene in the whole film. It's the bit where someone pulls up in an Audi and the car, the camera just swoops in and zooms in on the make of the Audi for like 5
the
seconds.
Audi e-tron, like sponsoring this episode of Mediate whatever the fuck, the new electric car made by Audi.
I'm not joking though. It's a whole 5 seconds just on the car.
It is like
they paid over $10 million for that, right? Like that is a lot of screen time.
To be fair, like there are at least 3 things that are like obvious product placement.
Yeah, but we'll get into the comedic ones because they are funny.
Yeah, there's one that was like, oh, obviously that's a product placement, but I didn't realize it. This one is like, oh, they paid for that, but at the same time, at least Iron Man has like a history of liking cars. Yeah.
I like this, the MCU is this like Audi utopia. This world where only Audis exist. There's gonna be a bit.
Gonna spoil the film in a second. Well.
You know, like after the kind of carnage, the snap caused. You know, my favorite scene in the film was the scene in which an Audi executive comes on and goes, "We at Audi have helped clear up the carnage and rebuild this world."
No, it's just the 50% of people that got snapped happen to be all of Audi's like competitors. Like Elon Musk is like gone, you know.
All right, Audi. Okay, so you're generally pretty positive
Yeah.
on this film. Although, I mean, do you think you'll like it more over time, or do you think it will start to wane on you? Like,
I mean, I think it will be interesting to rewatch just because, you know, it will be a lot of fun. But I feel like in knowing the payoffs, that's sort of enough. I don't know.
do you think it's going to be a rewatchable film? Because there's
I mean,
definitely.
it's 3 hours long. I'm never going to find that much time again in my entire life, Harry.
I can see myself watching the start of the third act a lot, and maybe some certain scenes from the second act, definitely.
Yeah.
But the first act is very. I don't think. I mean, it's good, and I appreciate the balls of them to pull it off. But I don't see myself rewatching that if I get it on Blu-ray, you know. I just want to watch some cool scenes, you know, because it's very slow. We'll say that.
Yeah, I think Infinity War, despite being massive, felt tight. This has like a lot of like I wouldn't say it like calms the pace of the film. Like it definitely isn't like a slog for being 3 hours, but it has like moments that properly slow down. You know.
I felt they've kind of grown up a bit. Like Guardians 2 is a really good film, but my one criticism of that is there are emotional moments where I don't want comedy in that film. I just want to be sad. And this film is brave enough to just not make jokes at times. Mm-hmm. It's brave enough to have emotional scenes, and then they'll have scenes with a few jokes. I think that they've done pretty well in terms of the way characters, because it's not all of them together for the whole film. People go off and do different things, and the way they branch people off. They're having this is the funny one, this is the sad one, this is the kind of Mm-hmm. I feel like the way they kind of split the film up worked well. I mean, it's not as funny as this film, but it's still got some good lines, you know.
I mean, I'll say that it doesn't have, you know, as big like memeable moments as like, oh, why is Gamora, etc. Like those like Drax based humor.
Yeah.
But in its like plot setup, despite being, you know, Endgame, you know, the end of the fucking saga, it has like some, when you realize what's happening, you think, God, this is actually hilarious. This is actually the funniest thing.
Yeah, I was laughing a lot by it. Like,
mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's like a good Ready Player One for the MCU.
I was gonna say this is major Ready Player 1-2 vibes.
Like I wouldn't say the scene, but like a lot of Captain America stuff in the middle of the film, I was just laughing like a lot.
I know.
Like
so good.
So many great moments with Cap. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Who's your favorite character in the film? Like, obviously Thanos was your favorite in the last one. I'd say.
I mean, to be fair, the last one is
Thor and Thanos.
I would probably might say Tony.
What for this one?
For this one, yeah. Just I don't know, but it's also I don't know. I quite like Banner and Thor. It's hard to decide.
See, I'm not the biggest Thor fan. I think Thor's arc is probably the weakest of all the big characters.
I don't know. It feels like
because they do a thing, which we'll get into.
But like the thing is like a lot of things in this are fan servicey. But the thing they do with Thor is like, okay. That's okay.
I really wish I hadn't had that. That's the one thing I knew.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
Like the things like obviously some of the Hulk stuff, like I just went into a comic book shop and they just had toys. So I was like, oh okay, I guess the Hulk's in this film then.
You saw him
very minor
as well, to be fair.
No, it wasn't. They kept him out posters.
It was
just the toy stuff.
Sorry, like
yeah.
I mean, like fuck, when they had like the early version of the suit that they wear, which is in the trailer for this.
There were a few toy leaks where it was like, this is where the final battle's taking place. These are the there was a few kind of moments where like in the trailer that kind of you piece things together. But the only thing that I didn't have any idea about but got kind of spoiled for me was the Thor thing. Also.
Imagine getting a Funko Pop of Endgame Thor.
I kind of knew that the shocking thing that happens in the first 15 minutes might happen because it was half working it out and half people being like, oh, so I saw the first 15 minutes. I have no idea. What the fuck? Like I heard a lot of people say that who'd kind of been NDA'd. So I was like, it's a weird thing where because there's been so much speculation in this film. There's almost not a thing that happens in it that someone hadn't have kind of guessed or worked out or something. But it's still satisfying. Like if I think about Infinity War beforehand, I probably would have worked out how it would have ended. that probably would have been my guess as to how it ended. But it still emotionally worked, and I think this still works, even if you kind of see spoilers or kind of work it out. But yeah, that thing with Thor, that is the opposite of fan service.
I know, but yeah, I think it because you think we're being so fan servicey apart from Thor, would make it predictable. You think, oh, cool things gonna happen, you know. You think like you'd get sort of numb to it at some point, but it keeps building on itself though. It always, like, up until like the very last moment, like cooler and cooler things keep happening. Like things like, oh, I'll never do this in the MCU, but then they do it, and you're like, oh, you know.
Should we just get into spoilers?
I think so. So we'd say, you know, go watch all of the MCU fucking in order over the course of 11 years, and then watch Endgame.
I mean, okay, off the top of my head, watch Iron Man, or Cap 1, Avengers 1. Actually, just watch them all, because you could, for some reason you have to watch Thor 2.
Yeah, I was gonna say even the worst one is paid off in this film, which actually kind of makes sense. Like, you know,
I really didn't like that scene, and I'll get into it why.
Okay.
It's because they couldn't get someone back, and it was very obvious they couldn't get someone back because of the way they were cutting around it. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like, okay.
Anyway, we'll get into it, but yeah, just, you know, I think this is almost, as I saw like a tweeted, like it's almost more than just a film. It is like an endpoint to the cultural landmark that has been the Disney MCU for the last 10 years.
Because everyone was, when Infinity War came out, everyone was like, this is more than a film, this is an event. And looking back, Infinity War was like the most accessible film of all time. This is like another level. Like,
this is like, have you been reading the Dark Souls item descriptions of every tiny thing in the entire film?
I have no idea.
So we're gonna reference fucking Big Hat Logan in these scenes in the background. It's gonna be the coolest thing.
Because like, this is like got incredible reviews from critics. It's got more free ticket sales. It's gonna make so much money. But I don't know
it's so weird though when you think about
like it, because
I was half thinking, like, is this sort of a Last Jedi kind of thing? Because on the one hand, like, it is fan servicey, but it does pull some left turns.
No, I think I think it's almost painfully well designed to appeal to literally everyone.
Okay.
Like, there's a scene where, like, have we got a character for this demographic? Yes. That, like, the final kind of climactic sequence has so many moments where the film stops and gives you character interactions, like coincidental bumpings into each other. And also a very on the nose moment, which I gotta say I did like.
It's so weird that it goes like.
Should we just say spoilers?
Right, but
so we can say
just very quickly. It's so weird that looking from Iron Man, where it all started, to this. The fact that, like, it started with, okay, let's adapt comic book films, but let's make them gritty, let's make them realistic, so that they can appeal to, like, this wider audience, to almost slowly weaning, like, the entire fucking film watching audience onto the batshit insanity that is most comic books, you know. It's crazy. This film is... How is this going to be, like, the best-selling film of all time? Probably. It's going to make $3 billion.
Yeah, I feel like the first hour is quite a good test as well, because it doesn't really give you any of the payoffs for a very long time. Like, so you almost have to endure a lot of kind of people being sad before you get those kind of moments that the general audiences were like. Yeah, so I don't know why. If it's weird, because I imagine all the fans will like it, the critics like it, it's going to make a load of money. But I think a lot of the general audience people who were just going and see the new Avengers film might be feel left very confused. They do have a few scenes of trying to explain what's going on.
Yeah.
And like,
I think it does a good job, despite, you know...
Maybe the moments we're focusing on, the things are smaller moments that people... Like,
that is true.
Like, they made the reference to this. Like, that, it doesn't matter if you miss that, because there's so much film going on in this film that you can kind of...
Alright, so that's our recommendation. Go see it. Hope we haven't spoiled anything too much, but we're now going to engage instant spoiler mode.
Activate instant kill.
Alright, don't stop watching. Stop it. You haven't seen this film. Ethan, I know you listen to this anyway. Fucking don't. It's good.
Halo got to see it by now. I'll make sure. I won't upload it for you, season. Alright. All right. Yeah, just
So engage spoilers, right?
yeah. I think we'll try and go in order. But the one thing I will say is when you were talking about the batshit sanity, if you're not on board with Spider-Man riding a Pegasus, carrying a fucking like gemstone fist, like you're not gonna like these films.
Yeah.
That is anyway. All right. Do you want to go from the beginning?
Okay, so
Do you even remember how this stuff starts?
yeah, it starts. Fuck, actually. Oh, it starts with obviously Tony adrift, right?
Oh no, there's a scene before that. It's Hawkeye. Hawkeye
Oh,
gets the first
shit,
scene.
yeah.
With that kind of painful reminder of the fallout of Infinity War.
Yeah.
Where his family just all disappear.
I know. I like that they doubled down on the sadness of hey, half the universe fucking die. This is like a super holocaust, you know.
This is gonna be such a long podcast.
Oh yeah, we'll try and not go scene by
Yeah.
scene because it's 3 hours long.
So Tony's in space, obviously played off in the trailers, gets rescued by Captain Marvel. I mean, that was pretty predictable. I like that the Captain Marvel post-credit scene is is her coming down asking where's Fury, and then obviously you don't see it, but it's implied that they tell her to go get Tony, and then she does that.
Okay.
Because when she comes down, she already knows who everyone is because they've had an interaction off screen. You assume Steve shaves in between those scenes, which I quite liked. So they didn't make it painful. They didn't have painfully obvious dialogue scenes. They kind of cut around that.
Yeah, I thought like it because I hadn't seen Captain Marvel going in. I thought like
Well, she's hardly in the film. Is
yeah,
she?
yeah. The thing is, I was like, oh, at the beginning, is it going to rely too much on her being this new powerful?
I'm really
person?
glad they didn't.
And yeah,
I think they
I
used
think
up
they
the
knew
perfect
that
amount.
probably most people, like I say most, but like a lot of people haven't had the chance to see it because it's just so recent. You know, most people see films, you know, on DVD or on TV as well. To be fair,
I feel like she hardly got she got a couple of lines at the start where you saw her like real personality, and then she had like one line in Spider-Man. But apart from that, she was pretty like out of the picture and generic.
yeah, there's a very on the nose. I won't be here for most of this film line that is like, hey, other planets need me. You probably won't see me for this month.
I do quite like the way they've written her out of it.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, to be fair. Like, oh, I suppose.
It's a big universe. She's got to
Yeah.
deal with a lot of shit, you know.
Yeah.
She's essentially the Avengers for like a lot of planets. It's a good way of not just every time there's a calamity, she just one hits everything.
Strongest Avenger. God, she is. Is she?
Yeah, she did. I mean, she flew through that big spaceship. So
Yeah.
I mean, Thor wasn't gonna do that, but that might just be because Thor's out of shape. Oh yeah, Thor's fat.
Fattest Avenger.
I don't know how much I like. I thought it was funny at first, and like there were great moments where like the group shot they've been using in all the trailers, suddenly it just goes a little bit further, and there's just Thor sitting in the corner with glasses on, having a drink. Like that was quite fun.
Okay.
But when it comes to like the climactic fight, and he's still like fat.
No, I think they did. Alright, so basically it's like Thor becomes fat, right? But that's to show that he's really like let himself go. Because in the beginning, obviously, they kill current timeline Thanos.
All right, should we go to that first?
Okay, yeah.
All right.
So they kill Thanos.
Yeah. So
Pretty minimally.
I mean, I liked it. I like that Tony and Steve's in like early interaction was kind of like
It was still quite bitter.
Yeah, the very start, it's very much let's go to Thanos straight away, and then the realization that he's destroyed the stones and and they kill him.
Yeah.
I
suppose it does make sense, but part of me does kind of want. Alright, Infinity War Thanos and Endgame Thanos are very different in my mind. Maybe because Endgame Thanos is technically the younger one, right?
Well, Infinity War Thanos had very much finished, and he done what he set out to do.
Yeah.
So I feel like,
but I also feel like his tone was a lot different.
But him coming back, him after kind of completing his life's work, coming back and fighting them, I doubt he'd have the same.
Yeah, he probably wouldn't have the conviction. He would have just like, I don't know.
I thought doing the Endgame Thanos thing was clever. Because
I wanted him to retire and be a father for the rest of his life, even though he kills like everyone. I mean, part of me just wanted him to just be left alone because he just gets killed so gruesomely. Yeah. That's probably the most like fucking.
I mean, he did deserve it. He did kill half of it all life.
Yeah, he kind of does deserve it. I've kind of been sold on maybe Thanos was wrong at this point.
And the idea of making the villain of the kind of he's not the villain of the film, but the villain of the third act, the 2014 Thanos, was kind of clever because.
I think it makes more sense because he has a bit more like brutality to him in the past, you know.
And also because he doesn't have the power of the stones, he has to rely on as well as his own strength. His allies more like his army. Like
to be fair, though,
before he could just take on the Avengers, just him.
Yeah.
Whereas this time he needs a lot of help.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the fact that he has that army is kind of. At first I was like, okay, so why didn't he just use them in Infinity War? But then you're like, Infinity War, the stones are scattered. He's got to send the Chitauri to Xandar, you assume, and get them. He has to attack the Asgardian ship with his ship. He sends his children to Earth with the with those weird creatures, and he goes to Titan. Yeah. So like it's almost scattered. Whereas in this, it's more it's earlier, and they're all kind of concentrated. It's more of a concentrated attack for all of the stones.
Mm-hmm.
Which so that kind of his firepower made sense. Although his what do you think of his plan this time?
His plan this time to just fucking go insane.
Or kill every. I mean, I'd argue that he always was insane.
I think
he was very much convinced that he was right, and learning that he was almost wrong because it wasn't going to work. Because he realized that his plan doesn't work basically.
I don't know. I feel alright. In my mind, it's almost the younger him is just like more rage filled, and like the 6 years or whatever of trying to find the stones like almost mellow him. Because in Infinity War, even though you could say he is mad for trying to kill half the universe, it feels like he doesn't want to do it in a sense. He's like I'm the only one who can do this. Like I have to. Whereas in this film, it feels much like a madman, sort of driven by his view of his own destiny. You know, he's like I am inevitable kind of thing.
Yeah, but he gets told that it's not going to work, doesn't it? Because like it's literally. Like,
I mean, yeah.
It's like you're gonna do the snap, and then you're gonna die achieving your life's goal, and then it's gonna get undone, and it's all gonna be for nothing. And because the Avengers people aren't gonna lay down and take it, they're gonna fight back, and then he kind of has to change. His entire kind of worldview is changed because he kind of.
I suppose that's true. I don't know. Mate,
he's definitely a lot more evil.
Yeah, they doubled down on the evil.
He seems stronger than.
Well, the thing is, like, people are like, oh, why is he so much stronger? Like, he already beat Hulk without using any Infinity Stones at the start of Infinity War. Even though he has the Power Stone, they state that he doesn't use it. Yeah. He just is stronger than the Hulk. So it does make sense that he's quite powerful at the end. Yeah, especially since he's younger and in more shape. I don't know how old Thanos is.
It's only the fact that like in Infinity War he has like 3 stones and they almost beat him. But in this one, I guess he just had a lot more help.
Yeah.
Okay, another random question. This is just going to become random things. Guardians of the Galaxy 1, touching the Power Stone kills people. Is that just because it's the Power Stone? Because I was really confused. I was like, oh, so you can just carry Infinity Stones? Because Hawkeye's just carrying one, like it's.
Well, doesn't he like? Oh, I suppose he carries the Soul Stone, but at the same time, it would be a massive dick move for him to get given the Soul Stone and for it to kill him instantly.
Yeah, like I'm guessing it's just because I thought
maybe it is just the Power Stone.
Yeah, I thought that was like a thing that didn't make sense. But it probably is just the Power Stone because the Power Stone comes in that little container.
Oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense to be fair.
If it was just that one because it's powerful, because like the other ones can just be carried.
Yeah, but also if you look at it like. Not that many people like directly hold them. Like they're holding the Stark Gauntlet, as it's being called.
How does he do the sleight of hand? At the end,
I think it's just because it's nanotech, so he just can build another gauntlet in his suit that he is wearing, and he just must like swipe the Infinity Stones.
Do you reckon there's something that we've missed, like a really subtle thing when he's fighting?
You can probably see him like do it quickly, where he I think it's like he puts his arm over the gauntlet.
Strange gives him a look.
It's like the Infinity Stones like suck to his hand and they like move.
Yeah.
That's how I imagine it to be.
I really love that ending. All right. Yeah. So, Thanos dies at the start. Mm-hmm. Time jump 5 years.
Yeah, I was very confused whether it was going to be 5 years later or 5 years earlier because I didn't know how they were going to do time travel.
Yeah, the 5 years later, I mean, it's clever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a bit worried that in this world now, some people are 5 years older and some aren't.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of...
But I also feel like whenever it'll be a problem, they'll just conveniently be like, ooh, all of Spider-Man's friends were also all snapped. And they also came back. So nothing changes for them.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good way of aging up some of the characters that they maybe
That
set.
is
Like
true.
Miles Morales being like a 5-year-old kid or whatever. Suddenly he's
Oh my
he's
god,
older.
that's so genius. Fucking Kevin Feige.
Yeah, so it's a good way of aging.
Oh, that's so
something like that.
smart, actually. That's actually pure genius, now that I think about it. Fuck, they are going to do Young Avengers, aren't they?
Also giving people mutual histories, because suddenly Carol's had 5 years of kind of interacting with the Avengers, so it's like, yeah. I mean, I think it definitely, the Russos were definitely trying to create a lot of interesting possibilities for the future. This being their last film, like with the invention of time travel, this fun new universe where some wild shit is happening with Loki and the Guardians and stuff. Which I don't know how much I'll touch upon that. The fact that pretty much everyone's still alive. I think 2 people die in this film, and Cap and Hawkeye probably
retire.
Yeah.
Okay. Hawkeye.
But I think Hawkeye's gone. I think him being with his family, he won't come back.
Fair enough. That's true. He might just still be under house arrest. Like they'll pull out that line for every film. It's like, oh, we're fighting the fucking living tribunal. Where's Hawkeye?
At the
house
funeral,
arrest,
Ross should have come up to Captain America and been like, "You're a fugitive." Try to arrest him at the funeral.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sad.
So yeah, time jump. Things are going to shit. Thor is fat.
Yeah, they have to like pull the team back together because they're like, hang on, what if we could? All right. First of all, a fucking rat saves the entire universe. Rat.
That rat's got to be Loki or something.
Imagine if that rat. That's
they'll-
so funny.
They'll do something with that. Surely it's got to be like
No, it's gonna be the rat.
just a mad coincidence.
It's the rat that. Well, that's like what half of the 14 million timelines are. Like they win the fight. They would win the fight in most of them, but just the rat just doesn't press the right buttons in like 13 million out of 14 million timelines.
Yeah, I guess with that line they've kind of written themselves into like there are 2 conveniences in the plot of that and Tony just inventing time travel, which I kind of love. I kind of love that he can just, if he just puts his mind to anything, he can
I got to
solve
see
it.
him use a hologram again. Oh, I was so happy.
Because it implied that he did it in that night. Just solved it.
Time travel. Beated it, mate.
God,
Completed it, mate.
I kind of love that.
I know. I mean, I don't know. It's more that he's making time travel reliable, though.
Yeah, because I guess part of the solution's already been solved, because we know he has the quantum realm. They know that they can enter that.
Yeah, they know that they can get quantum healing particles, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yeah, so Tony, it's interesting that they do the kind of, he comes from a position, he's come from privilege all his life, he's been wealthy, and the fact that he essentially, his life is better now than it's ever been. He's got Pepe, he's got a daughter, he lives in like an isolated kind of community. He has no responsibilities to be an Iron Man anymore. I'd say, despite the snap, he's probably happier now than he's ever been, and yet he kind of makes the choice to sacrifice himself to kind of.
Yeah, he makes the sacrifice play.
I really do like that.
Yeah,
I think his arc. He's probably, I'd say, the main character of this film.
The main character of the MCU.
Yeah, him and Cap kind of share equal kind of screen time in the films and stuff, but Cap in this one, I wouldn't say he's underutilized. He's more utilized in Infinity War.
But he definitely gets a lot of time to shine in this.
He gets a lot more cool moments, a lot funnier moments, and he gets the final moment of the film, obviously, which I'm so pleased that they ended it with that. I thought that's the fact that, I mean, we haven't actually mentioned it yet. Iron Man dies, killing Thanos and his army with the Infinity Stones. Cap goes back in time. He kind of lives out his life with Peggy, which is the only way you can end Cap. Like, I'm really glad they didn't kill him.
Yeah.
But like, that's kind of the second you invent time travel, you have to give Cap the life that he kind of deserved. Yeah, I really like that. And the other death is the one that no one saw coming, Black Widow.
I know. What do you think that is?
I think that's permanent.
Well, to metagame here, is it because Scarlett Johansson wanted out of the MCU?
No, because they're doing the Black Widow film, which is
fair enough. But
so,
I don't know. I suppose Yeah, they do double down that it is permanent. That's probably just because they didn't want her coming back in this film. Do you think she will actually like properly never come back?
I'm starting to feel like she might come. I think the Black Widow film will be a prequel.
Yeah, it probably will be a prequel.
Will her past, and then I think she won't come back. Maybe in like
end credit scene though.
Yeah, maybe in like 20 years they could bring it back or whatever. But I think that the emotional weight of that moment would kind of be sacrificed by bringing her back. And it was, I mean, the horrible realization I had when they all split off into teams.
Yeah.
And the two. Part of me was thinking, what if Nebula and War Machine go? Like, what the fuck do they sacrifice? They're just like, oh.
I guess I'll lose my legs again.
Throws his suit.
What was it? He gets the tank and he says, "Boom! You're looking for this?" And throws it down. Yes, to sacrifice the story that he tells the party. He's like he can never tell it again.
Yeah, but the realization when those two go off. I mean, I was thinking it's going to be Black Widow because Hawkeye's got his family and stuff.
Yeah.
But,
I was really worried.
Horrific scene where they were both trying to kind of kill themselves.
I was really worried that Hawkeye would like ask Black Widow to do it because he had a family, and that would seem really selfish. But he doesn't. You know, they're like fighting to. I'm almost kind of annoyed that it wasn't like the real Soul Stone was the friends we made along the way kind of situation where he realizes they both want to sacrifice each other, so he just gives it anyway. Yeah, I was kind of worried they do that though, because I kind of like the sacrifice. It is sad, but it is sad.
I was very worried that like when I think it's Scarlett Johansson jumps and then Hawkeye just fucking jumps as well. I was just like, no. What the fuck?
Red Skull just gets the Soul Stone. He's like, Jeremy Renner, my long lost love, I've sacrificed him.
Yeah, I was curious that they didn't give Cap a moment with the Red Skull.
Yeah, but the thing is, like,
Jeremy Renner mentions it, like, doesn't he? But it's like an emotional scene, and he mentions the Red Skull. I was worried they were going to cut to Cap, and he's like, Red Skull's what? But no, they just kind of leave it.
It's really interesting though. You think that like, according to Red Skull and that timeline, he like gives away the Soul Stone, you know, to Clint, and then he's like, then Cap appears and he's like, yo, here you go. Can I get a refund, please? It's like almost immediate. And he's like, oh, sorry, it's permanent. I know Chris Evans, right? That's Cap. He doesn't do anything, but I feel like there must be some way they could tell that story of him returning all the Infinity Stones, because it would just be really funny. Like, it would just be hilarious of him just going around to all these different places.
Just wielding Mjolnir, putting it back.
Yeah, I really want to see him just giving it to old Thor, like, yo, sorry, I borrowed it for a second.
I mean, that was a moment that people kind of been talking about for years.
Yeah.
It didn't make it any less cool.
I know, that's you can summarize the film as just that, to be fair.
Yeah, Cap lifts. I mean, I was very worried. There's a moment when they're fighting and Mjolnir gets thrown, and Cap and Thor are down. The Iron Man was gonna lift it. I genuinely was thinking that. I was like, that would have been too much. But they all lifted it. But no, yeah. I mean, that final fight scene with just the three of them's really good, and then obviously the Eagles are coming moment where all the portals open up.
Yes, that's actually the coolest thing. Where Sandra's like, on your left, the gates of Babylon open and all the fucking people come through.
That final fight is so... There's too much happening. Like, it's ridiculous.
It was so epic
when
and amazing.
Fucking Pegasus flies in, and look, there's like a 25 story pool run, and I'm like, oh, this is just mad.
When there's just an army of sorcerers show up, and they're not even like the weirdest thing. No, the thing is, like, the fight was just the fact that the fight was set up, like the fact that you get that one shot of Cap standing against the army, which is actually the best thing in any film ever.
Oh, and he fastens the broken shield.
Yeah, just that you get that one like frame of him just like in the bottom left, standing against the entire army. And then all the people come in, and it's like, okay, the idea of this fight happening is so good, I almost don't even need to see it. Like, they could have just cut to the end and been like, good job, Avengers.
the budget. The fight is just so ridiculous. I mean, it's just if you're not on board, if you're on board with the franchise, you're on board with that fight because it's the most ridiculous. Like people bumping into each other,
Yeah, you
the
get
ship rains fire. No one gets killed by that raining fire of the fact that every female character just decides to team up.
I know. I've already seen people complaining about that, and it already makes me mad.
I mean, it's just like it's a fun moment.
It's the thing that you could tolerate every other bit of blatant fan service, but the fact that the women just happen to be next to each other is like, oh no, my emotion is ruined. Kind of thing is like, really.
I mean, there's so many great cheesy moments like that.
I know. I loved it. I was like, yeah, fucking cool.
Well,
and then Captain Marvel's the most powerful one and ignores them.
Is
it's
that
funny?
Is that your favourite scene of the film? That kind of end fight?
I do really like the end fight, but I really like the time heist though.
Let's mention the time. Yeah, there's time travel.
The time heist, which is the middle of the film, is
alright.
It's so good.
Okay, the moment where I realised this is probably my favourite MCU film and probably will be my film of the year and probably one of my favourite films of all time is when it just comes up 2012 The Avengers and you see that circling shot of them, and I'm just like, I'm back. Like this is absolutely incredible. Yeah. And of the time heists, there's kind of three heists, isn't there? There's the 2014 stuff, which only really exists to set up the third act. There's the stuff on Asgard, which I'm not a fan of, and then there's the 2012 Avengers stuff, which is just like all of the separate strands are incredible. Like seeing the ancient one again.
It's so cool when they're like
the Captain America, Winter Soldier, and Avengers intersections.
They do so much cool stuff with that. Just the fact that you see the end shot of Avengers where Loki's on the ground.
The dramatic and then just the boring like end of it. Like, okay, let's go.
It's like, all right, let's call in damage control. And you see Loki taking the piss out of Captain America. He like transforms into him, and like comes back later to fuck up Captain America.
Okay,
it's so good.
I think that my funniest line in the film is when Cap's fighting Cap and he knocks the old one down. I could do this all day.
It's like, I know.
I love how pissed off he is with himself. It's almost the Russos like acknowledging how because they don't like the old Cap. They kind of, I think. Joss Whedon's Captain America is very different to the Russo brothers' Captain America, and I love having the two of them fight like the kind of I could do this all day Cap, but they kind of, he's just like he's so past it at this point. He's like, I know, and the way he kind of I thought he was gonna have like a wholesome moment where he tells him Bucky is alive, like.
Yeah, but he just fucking distracts him. He's like, sorry, gotta borrow the scepter. And then he comes back again and it's like, here's the scepter again past me. Also, fucking Peggy is alive and then also dies. And just fucking dicks him over again. I don't know.
I really love the just everything about that 2012 thing, like the bit where that was the bit where I couldn't stop laughing, where he gets in the lift and it's like, oh my, you serious? It's shot in the exact same way as that lift scene.
As in the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, but then the Hail Hydra.
The Hail Hydra is a reference to that one comic panel that made the internet go fucking insane. And just the way he fucking leans it to says, Hail Hydra. And then they're just all like stunned silence, like, how could he know? Is he on our side? They just let him walk out with the scepter. It's fucking perfect.
Also, having Ant-Man go with them, I really don't. I don't think the Ant-Man films are great, but I think the character really works. Like, he kind of is the comedic. Him and maybe Hulk. They're the comedic relief. Like him going with them kind of provides a lot. And when he's
smart Hulk.
Oh yeah, we watched the subtitled version where he is subtitled as Smart Hulk.
That's so funny. Is that a canonical name? Because I'm pretty sure in the comics he's called Professor Hulk or something.
Yeah.
But in this, it's just Smart Hulk.
I think because perhaps people there was a lot of leaks and speculation about that moment. They almost understate it. They give it to you pretty early on. They don't make a big reveal out of it. They give you him being a dick to some kids, like with dabbing, getting that selfie.
That's so good.
I mean, speaking of the dab, Korg and Meek playing Fortnite.
What's the term? I want to double check if this is actually like really racist, but they're just like bogans, right? May edit that out. That's like a slur against Australian people. I'm sorry, but it's just funny. They become fucking druggos. You fucking druggo.
I really you have like I think part of the reason like the Roosters obviously didn't know how well received Thor Ragnarok was going to be and how much people were going to love like Korg and Lee. So like bringing them back for this, having Korg wear a pineapple t-shirt and like Taika Waititi's like things that he always wears pineapple t-shirts, like having that kind of in joke, just what a great scene.
It's actually the fact that it's new Asgard in the place where it's like, oh, this could be Asgard. You see it, it's like, this is actually quite shit.
It's just a little fishing town.
I know, it's alright. It's kind of charming. What do you think about, this is kind of jumping to the end, but about Valkyrie becoming Queen of Asgard?
Okay, so it's got a big Return of the King ending, which I don't mind. It kind of left me feeling, some of the things left me feeling a bit cold. Like, I feel like I need to see the film again to work out Thor's arc. Because Thor's arc's very confusing, because he's kind of...
He does go all over.
Infinity War, he was...
I feel like it makes sense.
He's this tragic character. And then in this one, he deals with it he's kind of lost it. He's comedic relief.
And it does make sense, like, he was so powerful, but it's like, yeah, but he's done everything. Like, what could he have done? Yeah.
But then, like,
he just blames himself for not going for the head.
Like, seeing his mother kind of like that didn't really work for me. Like, it wasn't bad. It just emotionally that didn't really impact me.
Because it does rely on a pair of Thor 2.
Yeah.
But I feel like that is kind of ballsy of like deciding the films they go back to. Let's go back to the one that is like equivocally hated,
I think they had to go back to Thor 2 because that was the only place the stone was, and they clearly didn't want to be there because they didn't do much. And also, the moment I was saying, they clearly didn't get Natalie Portman back.
Oh, okay.
Because the one scene she's in is obviously an outtake. They just added Rocket to. Because Rocket's like, she's like on the bed, and he's like, time to do this. And then the next thing you see is just him running. Like, they didn't
quite funny.
They didn't get Natalie
I quite like it. I quite like that they...
I felt like they would. I feel like if they were doing it properly, they would have got a moment with Jane seeing Thor, and she obviously didn't want to be in the film, and they just asked like, "Can we use your likeness?"
Okay.
It felt like that. It felt like that to me anyway.
I feel like I don't know. They could have, if they didn't want to do Thor 2: The Dark World, they could have just taken them to any time when the Collector. They could be like, "Yo, I'll trade you Mjolnir for that Infinity Stone." It's like, good deal. Even though he's like, I didn't know what it was. Why would I lie? I imagine it's like breathing to you. God, Infinity War Thanos is much better. Yeah. I say much better. I like him a lot more. He's a much stronger villain in this, though. He's a lot easier to hate.
I see in Endgame that he's not really the villain until the end. Yeah, in the kind of middle of the second act, they kind of just pull him out of thin air and like, we need someone to fight at the end. Yeah, so let's just bring Thanos back.
Part of me was like, if this film were just 2 hours long, it could have just had them all time heist all the stones, and then just be like, well, end of the film.
The time heist it's almost quite easy because it's not like the main.
Yeah.
Like it goes off without. I mean, the big hitch is Loki. Hulk has to take the stairs and then knocks over the briefcase. And then Loki, I love how Loki just he's the only one that notices the chaos that's going on. Like when Ant-Man's pushing the briefcase, Loki's as the kind of manipulator, the one that realizes that something's happening.
Yeah, that's really funny. I am actually interested because that's obviously setting up something of some kind.
I imagine it would be the TV show because people love that character, and but like the character's also in a weird place where he's kind of semi-redeemed but also not. You kind of
and in one timeline he is redeemed but also probably dead.
I think they kind of retconned it to see like the Mind Stone was fucking with him. Isn't that like a retcon they've used? Like he's not as evil as he is in the Avengers.
Well, he does do some bad shit in the first Thor film.
Yeah,
dicking around.
I mean, he's got motivation in that one. Avengers, he's just mean for the sake of it.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just. I forgot what I was going to say.
Okay. Man, there's too. I mean, I'm probably forgetting a ton of things about this film. It's just there's so much going on. I mean, that first kind of chunk, which is really a really ballsy way of starting the film. I did enjoy it, but I think for me it really starts when the timeline starts. They kind of give everyone the time to wallow in their sadness and set
I do
set
feel
up the
it's a
world.
good setup though, because it does set up a lot of motivations, such as Tony and his daughter.
So Thor's that's what we're talking about. Thor's arc. I'm not sure. Like at the end, his is the one I felt least satisfied
I'm
with.
confused to see where he's going to
He
go.
chooses to give up the throne to Valkyrie and just go and have fun, basically.
I don't know.
And
I'm not
what
sure if he's like, I'm not sure what his arc is going to be in the future, but I feel like in this film it makes sense that he has let himself go because of the guilt that he feels.
I thought killing him would have been a good idea. I feel like
but also it's like, well, why would they, I don't know, why would they kill him if from
Tony,
a metagame standpoint of they're getting rid of Cap and Tony, and also if they want Chris Hemsworth, if Chris Hemsworth says I still want to do this,
That's true. And also, a Guardians film would be good with Thor.
Yeah, the Asgardians of the Galaxy name hunt is such a good idea that I would go see a film based on that name if it was called Asgardians of the Galaxy.
And Ragnarok is one of, alongside this kind of the Infinity War Endgame. I think I'd probably go Endgame, Infinity War, and then Ragnarok number 3. Like Ragnarok is so much fun. I love Taika Waititi. If they were to do another Thor film, or he was to do another one, I mean that would be brilliant. Like I wouldn't say no to just a more fun with just do the Men in Black International thing of just stick him and Tessa Thompson together. And just...
I feel like, well, all right. On one hand, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which has confirmed James Gunn back on it at this point,
might actually be good one.
Well, yeah, it's probably written before they knew Thor was going to be in it. But at the same time, if Guardians 3 and Thor 4 were a crossover film, that could be better than Endgame.
They definitely play up the we don't tell anyone anything thing. Like James Gunn definitely knew how this film ended. I feel like because I don't think he'd have written a script with Gamora in and then realized Gamora's dead. I feel like there's definitely communication.
Yeah, but it's also weird because it's 2014 Gamora in this one again now.
But she died.
Well, no,
she got dusted.
Well, that's is that like 100% confirmed though?
Because in the funeral Gamora's not there.
Yeah, but she also doesn't know Tony that well, so...
Nah, because all the other Guardians are there.
Yeah, but the point is, at that point in 2014, the Guardians hadn't even formed.
Yeah, but you know what? Because at the end of the film, when the Guardians are all on their ship, Gamora's not there. Because Gamora dusted because she was part of the family. When Tony snaps his fingers, Gamora dusts.
That is possible, but I feel like there is some element of ambiguity.
Yeah,
given
they
by the
didn't
fact
draw
that...
attention to it. I feel like they could have done that where Gamora goes.
Yeah,
I don't know.
At the same time, it would be kind of a dick move to be like, in Tony's heroic moment, here's him accidentally killing this beloved character again.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll do something in a few years with the Soul Stone, Gamora and Black Widow being in it. Because I don't know, those two characters would.
If they had the all-female Avengers film, that would be a good time to bring it back.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there was a lot going on. There was almost too many characters.
Yeah, I mean...
So much so that no one really gets any lines at the end, which I kind of like. Like, if they're not going to be... Alright, the one thing I saw on Facebook was, that I really want to bring up, is the fact that when T'Challa takes the glove, he's like, give it to me, Clint. And then...
Yes! Because it's like...
I'm cool, by the way. I don't care.
he did care.
I really like that. I'm going to pause this. Okay, we're back from a mini break. What kind of big moments have we missed then?
Well, I don't know. I feel like in terms of big moments, I don't know. We've hit quite a few. I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff with the Time Heist, which has Tony getting a reunion with Howard.
Oh yeah, we haven't gone back to the 70s yet. Yeah. But the
So that's how because they fuck up and Loki takes the Tesseract,
which is great, and then
so they decide they have to go back to get more pin particles.
What did you think they were going to do there? Just
I had literally no idea because I assume that's set up somewhere else.
Because I think my idea was I thought they were going to try and get Fury's pager in 2012.
That'd be funny.
But no, I really liked the going back to the 70s. Probably I think the first moment where I started to feel emotional was when Tony has this kind of scene with Howard.
Yeah.
They finally pay that off in a really satisfying way, you know. One of the defining kind of running themes of the MCU is daddy issues, you know, and Tony finally gets to kind of resolve his. Also, seeing the young Michael Douglas is great, and your first look at Peggy there, you think, oh, Steve not going to see her here. They're not going to get that kind of that last dance.
The Stan Lee cameo is him de-aged, saying "Make love, not war."
Yeah.
I wonder how many ahead they filmed in advance of Stan Lee cameos.
I don't know.
It must have been like, if he was like, well, I feel like my time on the earth is limited. I'm gonna film a whole bunch of fucking. Actually, no, that's really selfish of me to be like, what would I want someone to do with their last day on Earth? Film MCU cameos.
I feel like that might be the last one.
Yeah.
Well, maybe
I feel like they would do.
Spider-Man
They
one
would
would
do.
be nice. Spider-Man's his favorite.
They would do like a really big thing though for his last one. I feel.
Captain Marvel.
Unless you just didn't know.
I mean, Captain Marvel's Marvel logo at the start is all the Stanley cameos. You know, they show the clips of all the films and the Marvel Studios logo.
Yeah.
It's just all the Stanley's cameos.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah, that one had a lot of kind of tributes in the film.
Okay.
Yeah. So the 70s stuff's good. Obviously before the time heist, you get a nice Tony's family. I mean, his daughter. I mean, that's just really sad.
Yeah.
That entire funeral with Happy talking about the cheeseburgers.
Oh my god, that was really sad. I was genuinely really sad when you see the callback to the first Iron Man, which is the proof that Tony Stark has a heart.
Yeah.
Plaque coming back.
Or the kid from Iron Man 3 coming back.
I didn't recognize him, but I had a feeling he was someone important.
Yeah.
And I looked up and it was like, oh fuck, it's him.
I like
That's
how
really
they did. Again, they don't draw attention to it. It's like if you know that person,
Yeah.
they'd stop the film to point that out. They kind of.
Yeah. They don't do the
I'm-
Suicide Squad thing if
The man that her heart is glowing. We can end this.
we have the Infinity Stones. We can snap our fingers now.
I really like the expositions, but that's another one of my favorite scenes when they're all sitting. They're all just sitting in a room, like brainstorming the previous films, and then there's the realization, like we can get 3 in New York.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
And Tilda Swinton's cameo is great.
Yeah.
Because it's short and sweet. She explains the timeline thing quite well.
Mhm.
Seeing Bruce out of the body of the Hulk is was like a really good visual.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I also really like the fact that she just knew Strange would come. Like she kind of knows the future.
Yeah. Because that is set up in Doctor Strange, which I've seen like 3 times.
I mean, as
But it also makes sense that she can't see any past her own death, which is what she says in the film, which is why she's surprised. Like Doctor Strange gave you the time stone from the future.
Yeah.
I quite like that.
I also like the characters don't. You know more than the characters at some point, so the characters don't exactly know what's on Vormir.
Yeah,
Like
that's
they
really
don't
sad.
exactly know what happened on Titan, because only Tony and Nebula, like Tony was like somewhere else and Nebula was somewhere else. So then there'd be characters talking about what happened on Titan, not knowing, because I really like that. They kind of imply that the people have had conversations, but they leave it ambiguous enough as to what people actually know. Yeah, Tony's daughter.
Do Tony and Cap get like a proper making up moment? I'm trying to think. Is there like a moment where they like bro hug it out?
I mean,
Because it starts with them on pretty bad terms, and I feel like is that the one? Do they?
they have the "Do you trust me? I do" when they go back into the 70s.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But I guess it kind of implies that during the kind of time they were prepping for the time heist, they seem on better terms.
Okay, that's good. That's good. I'm glad they left each other on good terms.
Yeah.
Okay. They didn't bring Ross back.
What, Martin Freeman?
Martin Freeman.
Okay, the one character I'm pissed off with. Nakia. Why does people just pretend that Nakia wasn't like one of the main characters in Black Panther? She just doesn't exist in like this film or any of them.
Oh well. Off on a mission again.
Yeah.
You know that I really like the there's been an earthquake underwater line. What do we do about it? And they do their favorite geography strategy of do nothing.
Yeah.
But also the fact that could be a call forward to. Gone forward. Fucking, I'm an idiot. Foreshadowing of Black Panther 2 with possibly Namor, who is Budget Aquaman, or Budget Aquaman is Namor. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things with all the sequels now, I've probably said this like 3 or 4 times in this podcast, but it's still on my mind, is the fact that there is this world has had a catastrophic event happen, and that people had 5 years to deal with that event, and then the event was reset.
It's really weird.
And because I thought honestly the only way they would do it is they have to go back and before Thanos did the snap and stop ever doing the snap to kind of keep the continuity okay. And they haven't done that, and I madly respect them for not doing that. And it opens up a lot of possibilities, but it also opens up a lot of questions. Like cinema sins, this feels like you can nitpick this film to shit because of the time travel and stuff.
Well,
which obviously,
I feel like I could really defend the time travel though. Like there are people who say it doesn't make sense, and I feel like it's like
no time travel
solid.
makes sense.
I mean, well, no, because this isn't really time travel. It's more just
going back,
using the past as an item duplication glitch.
You put it well when you said that. When you think of it as like it's not Back to the Future rules.
Yeah.
Where the past will affect the future. It really does make sense.
It's just there's another separate universe that is affected by their actions, but as long as they just put the Infinity Stones back, then it's fine. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Although that glove that Ant-Man takes, that's a fucking film waiting to happen.
I mean, I love the film ends with Cap's dance, but when Cap goes back and lives his life out with Peggy, how come it's still the same world?
What do you mean?
Because they see Cap on the bench, it's like an old Clint Eastwood
man. The thing is, how I imagine that scene to work is that he goes and lives his life with the alternate universe Peggy, because in this universe, he goes back to the 1970s and lives his life there.
The 1940s.
Yeah, sorry. Because in this one, he knows that that she remarries or whatever. I don't know. I feel like he leaves.
If he went back to 40s, she wouldn't have remarried, would she? Because it would have been.
Yeah, that's the thing. But the thing is, I feel like it does make sense. The only difference is that A, he's not wearing the time travel suit, and B, he reappears on a bench instead of on the time travel machine, which is like a really like. If that's your only problem with it, I feel like it just makes the scene so much better anyway. And also, the time travel suits can change fucking appearance at any time anyway, so he is wearing it. So all the difference is he just moves like 5 feet. They just do the prestige thing if it isn't calibrated right. That's the only tiny detail, and it's not even a plot hole.
I don't think it's a plot hole. I'm just thinking.
In my opinion.
The way I think about it is that Captain America obviously goes in the water in the 40s, gets up, lives his life, and then when he jumps back, and then I don't know. Are there 2 Steve Rogerses in the world, or he just lives with the alternate universe one?
He lives in the alternate universe one where there is a Steve Rogers in the ice still.
Yeah. Couldn't he just go back to the main timeline?
Well, that's the thing. Is like it doesn't really make a difference whether you go back to the main timeline or not. It's just a timeline that has no bearing on the future. But I think the thing is they go back to like the same alternate universe, if that makes sense, in all of them. So there is like a continuity now where all the changes they make, however minor, are affecting a future. It's just not their future.
Yeah.
So he goes back to almost this sort of sub universe, right? Lives his life out there, and then comes back to the main universe when he's old.
What do you think about him giving the shield to Falcon? Do you think that worked?
I think people were expecting Bucky, which is why I think Falcon is almost like a
subversion.
Yeah, and I also think it makes sense because Bucky's already got a cool robot arm. What does Falcon have? Wings. They like destroy in every film, so
I think Falcon's almost a better choice as well because he's like
he should take the serum. He should become even more jacked.
Yeah,
that would be good.
They really need to get rid of the time travel somehow because you would just be.
I think it is.
It's gonna come up in every big film now,
But I feel like the way they do it is like
Falcon should just go back and get the serum from the past.
Yeah, he could do that. But I mean, I suppose they could also just make the serum now if they wanted. They could just give the serum to every Avenger,
Time travel. It worked in the film. I'm not a big fan of it as a narrative device.
But the thing is, the way it works now is it almost is like a Rick and Morty style, like alternate universes. But they don't do the thing where they say like, oh, because there's one main one that is like the canon one, that we can just fuck over the other ones, you know, in the way that Rick and Morty means, like, oh, there's basically no stakes because we can just have infinite universes to pull in shit we need or escape from when things go bad. And so in this one, it's kind of like, say a character died, and they were like, oh, can't we just go to another universe and bring them into our universe? There would still be a net amount of that character's death in the film, in the universes of universes, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever said, but you know.
This is very confusing.
But I feel like it maintains its own conservation of energy rules somehow.
Yeah.
I do like that.
They make it work.
Yeah, they make it work. Is what matters, and I don't feel like it has like glaring plot
The
holes.
hearing aliens saying the year 2014. It's kind of weird. It's just 2014 everywhere. Like,
It's 2014 years since this random fucking Jesus Christ was born on a planet on Earth that we don't care about. I assume that's part of the translation thing.
Yeah.
I like that they're probably not speaking English, but we just hear it as English.
Yeah, it's also like it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
That's the important thing. Like,
what
really matters is like if the film works. You know, I think emotionally the film definitely works. I mean,
yeah,
it's pretty much
is
Iron
like
Man's
not as standalone though. It is a lot of payoff to other things that have been set up, but on its own. But just watching it, I mean,
in terms of callbacks, and
such a big fucking explosion of that's cool. You know,
with the callbacks, jokes, and references, there's definitely a lot of like fan servicey stuff.
Yeah.
And I guess slightly I think emotionally it would stand alone. I guess if you've been following the whole Steve Rogers from Captain America 1, you know how important it is that the film ends with him being able to go back and live the life that he deserves. You know how important it is that Iron Man gets the closure with his father. You know, like how I guess it kind of that's why the Thor thing doesn't really work for me, because I feel like he kind of. He's so maybe it's just because they did him so well in the Ragnarok and Infinity War that I feel like this he isn't as well characterized in this.
I think it is almost though.
It almost turned him into a bit of a joke, which worked for me up to a point.
I think it was almost though that like they had almost shown that I don't know. I feel like they needed to take some steps backwards so that they could have room to go in the future. You know.
Yeah, the Russos didn't want to kill everyone, I guess.
And I think this way we're going to get a Mr. Incredible style training montage where he's pulling planets, you know, to just get Dench again, which will be funny.
Mr. Incredible. What else? I mean, we could just talk about cool bits from the big fight.
Oh man, remember?
Which doesn't end.
Oh man, yeah, it is the eternal fight.
Tony and Peter finally reuniting.
Yeah, that was good.
It's nice, really nice.
What do you think of fuck, I forgot his name. Ronan, not Ronan. Ronan. No, it is Ronan, right? That's
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye going evil.
I read an article today of like the 4 scenes to go for a pisser, and the Hawkeye fight was one of them, which I disagree with. I mean, it was cool. I liked.
I like it had like just a traditional sword fight in this film about magical laser beams, you know.
Because we did watch the film with official cinema closed captions, but the actual subtitles they use on screen in the
they're like proper John Wick
yes,
style.
they are John Wick. I love how like
they're really good.
They disappear when there's like a quick cut or something. It's like they're really well. It's a really well.
There's a bit where it was subtitled. The film didn't subtitle it, and our Odeon subtitles didn't subtitle it. It just said shouting in Japanese. And he says, "Die!" So there's a little tidbit for you there.
Nice. Yeah.
God, yeah. I'm glad that Finn got reunited with his family.
Yeah.
Imagine if he's still in house arrest after 5 years.
How much did they imply that Clint's killing bad people? Because it's kind of like you kind of assume he is, but does the film ever outright?
I mean,
it's like just the fact that he's
it is a
GTA people.
They do say that it's like cartel members, right? But
Yeah.
I have a feeling that he is being a bit Punisher-esque, excessive with it, if that makes sense, to show that his descent into.
I thought
madness.
Renner was really good.
I really like that a lot of that. It isn't that the fact that the 5-year time jump, like everyone goes in like different directions with how they handle it.
Yeah, but I mean that was really cool to see.
Yeah, like
And
some people like adapt and like thrive, like Tony, and other people are just fucking demonize themselves, you know. Yeah, which is really
And
interesting.
emotionally, it would have been cheapened if they'd just gone back and none of it happened, essentially. But
the fact that half the universe has to deal with this fucking trauma of losing all their loved ones for 5 years, and half the universe is like, whoa, I was in this weird purple place, orange place for like a second.
Yeah,
that's crazy, man.
Because Peter kind of says that they were only gone for it. It was instantaneous for them, right?
Yeah.
It seemed instantaneous. Oh, that moment, I need to see that. I mean, I'm definitely going to go see the film again as soon as I can. But the moment, I might see it tonight. I might just go on my own tonight. The moment, cause, like, I have a 2 film times at the cinema. I'm 100% going to break for this because I just want to see it as much as possible. But yeah, the moment where they all come back is just what scene.
Yeah, I fucking love that. It generally does.
Avengers. Finally get to hear it again.
Oh, there's so many lines like that that are just like there is Thanos saying I am inevitable, and then
I am Iron Man. That was his final line, right? He didn't say it.
Yeah, I mean, there's the recording I Love You 3000, and I think he tries.
I love this film 3000.
I know. God, they do a very good job of setting up Morgana very quickly.
Did you think, because like I can't say I know a lot about the comics, but
I don't know that much either, to be fair. I've just seen bits and pieces.
The Ironheart run of essentially someone breaks into Tony Stark's lab and becomes like a young Iron Man. She's guided by these tapes that Tony Stark's left. He's essentially uploaded a lot, not of his consciousness, but there's enough of his tapes to kind of guide his newcomer.
Mm-hmm.
And with that tape at the end Tony left, do you think that was them implying that despite Downey Jr. dying, if they were to do an Iron Woman in the future with his daughter or like another character,
even though I don't think she's coming back.
No. But do you think they'll have him return doing videos like that and like guiding them?
They could.
That's kind of what I got from that.
I feel like that's also the kind of thing that, because it is this sort of hologram effect, you know.
Because the MCU is going to massively change, and like they're gonna.
Yeah, but he is.
They're going to have
the face of it, and the fact he was the face of it, and the fact that he has this like final send off. I don't know. Maybe it makes sense to just sort of be fine with it, but I don't know.
They'll definitely do a cameo. Like even if we're talking 20 years, like a Downey, a de-aged Downey Jr.
Robert Downey Jr. Senior.
What do you think about all the de-aging stuff, like old Cap, looking like Clint Eastwood?
Yeah, that wasn't too bad. I had a feeling he's like, oh, is he really old when I saw him from the back of his head? God. That's actually a really sad line where it's like, I'm just sad that I have to live in a world without Captain America now. God. That is America's ass.
How do we forget that one? See, I really love Paul Rudd's Ant-Man. I feel like he's comedic relief. It's great. The bit where he comes back and the big mural and all the names, that was a very clever scene in a way to kind of show you the impact on the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like in a very limited time, they managed to show you the things that have changed and the things that haven't. You know.
Yeah.
What do you think about Professor Hulk? Are you a fan?
Well, Smart Hulk.
Smart Hulk.
I do think that they kind of, like everyone else, get such like final moments to their character, and I feel like Bruce Banner, I forgot his name.
Has he got one arm now? Because his arm gets fucked by that.
Yeah, it could be sort of like, okay, so if Clint retires and Professor Hulk, aka Smart Hulk, is one-armed, maybe he just isn't. Maybe he isn't like, maybe the entire original cast is gone now.
No, I saw it more as he'll be like a bit of a Beast in the X-Men.
Oh yeah, that's true.
He'll be like
do that.
He'll be like a because he's injured now. He'll be like the stay-at-home one, like the kind of the guy in the PC.
Yeah, the guy in the chair along with Ned. The thing with that is with Smart Hulk is, well, I don't know. It feels like he does it really quickly. That he just realizes like, oh, I just had to meet in the middle with Hulk somewhere. Like, I feel that would have been... That feels like it probably was a longer, more protracted emotional journey for him. But the fact that in the film it's just, like, quite sudden. But at the same time, the idea of it, I actually don't hate that much.
No, I think it's
I think it's kind
I do like the Valkyrie line. I preferred both versions of you. But,
it's like either of the separate ways.
Yeah. I kind of... I feel like
it makes sense,
she could have got a little bit more screen time. But,
she's going to have... she's going to come back.
Yeah, definitely. But the Yeah, it makes sense for Hulk's character that he's kind of been warring with him for so long, and then
He just makes peace with it.
the thing that Mark Ruffalo's been saying, where Universal won't give them the rights to a Hulk film, so we're going to do one over 3 films. So Ragnarok, Infinity War, Endgame, they've essentially done a Hulk film in those 3.
Oh yeah, that's a good. Yeah,
The arc of like it's just Hulk and then Banner in Ragnarok, and then
that
then they kind
is
of-
really
they're
good.
fighting against each
Yeah,
other in Infinity
okay.
War, and then Endgame they finally pay that off with they work together and they've become
They meet in the middle. Yeah.
yeah. Although he is very
He is a bit more Banner than Hulk though.
yeah. Early, I mean, it's the body of Hulk with the brain of Banner, right?
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
But like very early on, I was kind of worried in that first scene. I was like, this is a lot. Like you just killed Thanos, and now this. Like we've had.
They're in the diner that's in episode 2
Yeah.
where it's Watto and he's like, "Hey, what do you
I
know?
was really worried that Hulk
Smart Hulk."
I was really worried that Hulk was working at that diner. I was like, what the fuck is happening right now?
And then he dabs on those kids.
And the next scene is they go and see Thor, who is now fat playing Fortnite, and I somehow didn't walk out the cinema. Is a testament to the
It's
reason.
the fact. It's the contrast between that as like pure what the fuck is going on, and the fact that the end of the film is so fan servicey that I think makes this film work.
Mm.
That's just so. Who pitched Fat Thor? Who pitched it? Who was like, the actor we have who's famous for being one of the sexiest men in the entire world? Fat suit.
I like how it's like it looks good, but they didn't show it often his belly. So I'm
Mm.
guessing it was a
It might. Did it? Oh, we could have just on weight. No, no.
Because
he wouldn't.
I saw Hemsworth in the press tour. He was looking very good.
Okay, that's good.
I doubt they'll have made him get fat.
I hope that he obviously gets in shape again.
I think, wow.
But the thing is,
But they could do a lot of
They-
that in the Guardians. couldn't they?
it comes off as like a really like joke, like, oh, look at how low he's sunk, He's drinking constantly and playing Fortnite.
But
The
he's
two
still
most
quite-
detestable things.
in that
Yeah,
fight.
in the final fight,
he still
he
looks
actually
good.
looks good. Like the fact that he like gets the lightning and his beard like becomes braided. He looks proper like dwarven, like he looks like stout. It's like a new look for Thor,
You know
which
how
is quite
in,
good.
in Infinity War when he was like injured, Stormbreaker restored him. I did kind of think when he gets Stormbreaker, is he just going to go thin again? Which I'm glad they didn't do.
Yeah. I feel like that would have cheapened the
Yeah.
fact that he has a lot of recovery to do, if that makes sense. Because even the fact that he kills Thanos, even the fact that it's undone now, I feel like there will be some lingering sense of like, hey, I really did, fuck up in one instance. Which of course, you can't blame him for.
Well, there was a lot of talk like who's going to kill Thanos. Is it going to be Steve or is it going to be Thor? And it was both of them, which they both kill Thanos.
Yeah.
In the end, which is quite cool. That fight scene with Mjolnir and Stormbreaker.
I know.
When they both summon one and they get the wrong one.
You have the little one. That would be funny.
Yeah, Steve with Mjolnir and the shield. It's also good.
Yeah, that's actually.
He's so good with it.
Yeah.
I love how worthy he is.
Yeah, I knew it.
Yeah,
Oh,
I was
man.
so worried that I was going to pick it up. I'm really glad they didn't do that.
Oh man, can you imagine just everyone's worthy? They're just passing the hammer around.
It's the
Like,
same
hey,
scene from Age of Ultron.
Nebula, catch!
It's curious that they didn't really bring back any old villains because, like, I assumed this would be a time travel movie, and I thought we might see
I know.
Ultron again.
My really dumb theory that the way they beat Thanos is by summoning like the evil versions of each of the Avengers characters. Like they bring back like evil Hulk, evil
Iron Man, Ironmonger.
They bring back Ironmonger and Whiplash. They bring back all the fucking knockoffs of the heroes. They bring back Caecilius,
Do you think because people got dusted, like Trevor escaped from prison, Zemo might have gotten out?
That is
I mean,
I don't feel like
they won't bring back any villains.
I don't think they've rehashed ground in that way, but at the same time, the idea of the MCU films was they were always quite similar to reality, but I really like now that they almost have their own setting now. It feels like the MCU is its own place now that so much has happened to it that it is distant from our Earth, if that makes sense.
How much is Spider-Man going to acknowledge it?
Yeah, I feel like Spider-Man Far From Home will be the one film where they don't bring it up that much. But I hope that they do something with the fact in the future.
I think Spider-Man Far From Home is the one where they have to kind of get it cleared up.
I feel like they should, but I doubt they will.
In a jokey way, though. Even
if they immediately go to meaning it would be really funny.
Yeah, they have to.
They already have what would they do? What would they do to take the piss out of half the universe dying?
Because the tone of that film, I feel like they definitely have to acknowledge it and they have to make jokes out of it, and then they have to move on.
Yeah.
They have to clear up questions.
I feel
because
like
it's made by a different studio. I don't know if it will.
I feel like
I'm worried it won't.
They should have want to stop overpopulation? Try a new Thanos brand condoms. The resources are finite, so keep the population low.
I can't believe they kind of
purple.
When Steve was in that support group, he brought up Thanos, and people knew about Thanos. So I kind of assumed
on national television.
Yeah, I kind of assumed that they would have just kept that quiet. The Avengers did oh yeah, we fought this purple guy and he beat us and he got 6 magic gems. I thought they would have just been we don't know.
Over the course of 5 years.
It's God.
It's God. I feel like they'll do some magic. There will definitely be an alt-right group that is the world was better when there were half people.
There'll definitely be TV shows and stuff set in that period. Yeah. I mean, I hope so.
God, they could do an entire Walking Dead style show.
I mean, you can't say that the MCU doesn't have stakes anymore. When literally that.
Yeah.
Also, killing Black Widow. I mean, that's a ballsy move.
Mm.
I'm surprised you didn't kill one more, but I'm glad they didn't go too overboard with that. Just kill Hank Pym and go, no, I'm the only one who knew how to do time travel, and then he died.
Yeah, I think though it's almost that they've embraced how stupid comic books are now. That they will just do ridiculous things. That there's an alternate universe now. There's time travel now. There's fucking. They're probably going to bring in X-Men now.
Yeah, they can just do universe.
God.
I mean, also having a 5 year gap kind of gives you time for the X-Men, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, what is it? It's like House of M, right, with Scarlet Witch, that she begins it, right, or does something with it. I feel. No, it's her going.
She seemed way more powerful when she came back.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was just anger at Thanos.
Probably was. Yeah. You took everything from me. I don't even know you.
Yeah.
You will.
I didn't think it was cheap in fighting 2014 Thanos, but you kind of forget. They do a good job of just making you think it's the same old Thanos.
Yeah, I mean, in my mind, because I felt, I'm going to say, I saw myself in Thanos. But the fact that Infinity War Thanos, I felt like he had a real, somber attitude. This one did feel, mad, you know.
And he was definitely the main character in Infinity War.
Yeah.
Whereas he's hardly in this.
I don't know. I kind of hope in all those infinite timelines there's one where he's just, relaxing on the farm. Even though he doesn't deserve it. But, God, I don't know.
Yeah, he was like Two-Face in that. He destroyed the
stones. I know. Yeah, you see him. The first you see him from is him limping up that stair, going into his swamp. Shrek battles.
Alright, how much longer? Should we think we should?
Should we just keep recording until Ethan shows up?
I mean, I think we could probably give some finishing statements. Yeah. Are we gonna score it? I mean, I don't know if I'm.
I don't know if
we
I'm
don't
ready
have
for a
to.
score.
I mean, I gave it a 5-star on Letterboxd, and it's above Infinity War, which is a 9. So I know it's going to be a high scorer. I might drop. I don't think it will drop. I think it will grow.
Yeah.
I think I'll probably just like it more. The more I realize how much, because my favorite MCU films are Infinity War. I basically any one the Russos have made, the original Avengers and Thor Ragnarok, and I feel like all of that stuff kind of comes back and pays off here.
No. Okay, one thing that I was like, okay, the way they do it is
Let's
really...
Let's do bad scenes.
Alright, bad scenes. The way...
Howdy.
Howdy. Oh, yeah. What are you wearing? Is this Axe TM branded body spray? It's really funny, because the way they play off that scene, even though it's obviously sponsorship, is you're wearing that body spray that everyone hates and thinks is disgusting.
I didn't think that was. I thought that was taking the piss out of it.
Yeah, it could have been. It could have been either way.
Yeah, I imagine it's still sponsored.
I imagine they might have paid, but imagine being the CEO that paid £1 million for that, and then they take the piss out of it. Imagine if they see imagine if the Audi is it breaks down immediately. Like I was like, oh, fucking electric cars. It runs out of power 10 steps.
It would have been so funny if Thanos' ship gets blown up and the Captain Marvel is an Audi.
Yeah,
There's no Captain Marvel saving Tony and Nebula. It's just the space Audi.
The one thing they didn't do with Ant-Man was they didn't make anything they didn't make anything bigger than it usually is, which is what they normally do.
They made him big.
Yeah, but other than him, they didn't make any objects really big, and they thought it would have been really fun to have what if Mjolnir was just really big? What if it was just a massive hammer just mushes the army?
I mean, the reason they couldn't do it, all of that stuff, is because the lack of pin particles was a key component in the story, wasn't it? For the time travel.
And so does Ant-Man have his thing is that he uses a finite amount of them?
Well, Hank Pym can make as many as he wants because he's the only one that knows the formula.
Okay.
In those films, I think, if I remember correctly. And the whole conflict of the original Ant-Man and all the flashback stuff is that S.H.I.E.L.D. are just come on, just give it to us. And he's just no. And then they start developing their own, and then obviously Hydra are going to get their hands on it. I mean, Ant-Man's not great. It's alright.
I love the line. It's how did you not know these guys were evil?
Bringing all the Hydra guys back, bring Robert Redford back. I love him.
He's the guy above.
Crossbones came back for that one scene.
Oh my god. I love the fucking hair like that. Oh.
I mean, Phil Dunphy wasn't in it. I wanted to see him in that final battle.
Yeah, I want to see Mark Freed. I feel as much as I love how ridiculous it is now, I feel now there is nothing they wouldn't do. There's nothing they'd look at and be no, there's no way modern audiences would appreciate that. They now have a license to do whatever the fuck they want,
It's such a big payoff. Do you feel we're done now?
I could be done now.
I'm
kind of interested to see where it would go.
The only reason I say I wouldn't is because I have to stop because I consume a lot of podcast material about this kind of thing. So I'd have to just cut myself off from all them and I'd have to kind of make an effort to lose interest. Yeah. I do feel very satisfied by this.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's if I could.
I also do want to see that new Spider-Man film because I like the last one.
I feel they could just not do it. They could just get away with it. But I don't know.
Will they take a year break?
Yeah, that's what I want. I think if they took a proper break
and then did some TV stuff, some Disney Plus films maybe, and then a couple of prequel films.
I feel if they took a proper
they've got to have a think about that because I mean that Phase 3 4 or 5 years ago when they had that big, I don't know if you've seen that big press conference where they literally announced all their films. I think it was just before Avengers 2 came out. They announced all of Phase 3, every film. Obviously, Inhumans became a shit TV show instead of a film, and they moved a few of them around. They added a Spider-Man film in there, but they did a big announcement, and people kind of made fun at that, they planned 25 films in the future, but that planning paid off. Watching it, I'm glad they planned. I think that they'll probably take their time, come up with the roadmap for Phase 4, which will probably be a smaller scale one. They probably won't. They'll probably tease a big bad at the end of that, a Galactus or a Celestial. I don't know, a bigger threat.
Yeah,
they're not going to do Thanos.
I feel if they try to one up themselves again with an even bigger dude than Thanos, though, too soon, it will feel a bit cheap.
I think they'll have to do the next big thing, which won't be for a very long time. Will have to be another internal fight, a Civil War 2 or a secret invasion with the Skrulls. I mean, I don't want to spoil Captain Marvel for you, so I won't go into the Skrull thing too much. You should probably watch Captain Marvel, which is a pretty good film.
Yeah, I don't know.
Would you like Captain Marvel's haircut?
What, the short one?
Yeah, the comic accurate one.
I think it does look good. It looks good both ways.
It was a good way of signifying that,
a lot of time had passed.
Shit had been happening, people got new haircuts,
Yeah, I mean, Rocket is...
I get emails from a raccoon.
Takes a dig at it, though. You got a new haircut. All of us have kept our character designs the same after the last 5 years. Yeah. Final thoughts. I don't know. I feel like if I never watched an MCU film again from now, I'd be okay.
The saga is over.
Yeah, but just this in comparison to Star Wars though, the fact that this feels like orchestrated, like a master plan, like the machinations of Kevin Feige lay undetected for years. If only this world could be as beautiful as I am. The fact that it's just so, it feels like such a culmination, whereas Star Wars, they just kind of like, they keep fucking fighting with the last film that came out.
I mean, in my defense, I mean, I'll always defend Star Wars. We have to. That's the way it kind of always has been. Like the original.
Oh yeah.
George Lucas might pretend he had a plan, but Empire is a
Just
basically a standalone.
don't think Star Wars
So
is
is
as
Jedi.
good as the MCU.
I mean,
Even though there's probably no singular film that is as good as, say, Episode 3 or Episode 4. Apart from the fact that I gave Infinity War a 10, I gave some of those films a 9. Which, that doesn't make sense, but oh well.
well, Infinity Wars is more of is a huge franchise.
Yeah.
I think Star Wars is trying to be like that. The problem is it's not. It's very much the film should be far apart, and like the world almost isn't that interesting in Star Wars. I feel like trying to spin off from it, it's not that interesting a world. It's literally just Nazis v rebels.
I just think that what they should do is the
Combine
fact
them.
that... Huh?
Combine. I can't believe Darth Vader showed up in that final fight.
On one hand,
Although I did check my
it's
Twitter.
ridiculous. On the other hand, at this point they can pull it off. Like at this point, what couldn't they pull off?
I mean, I looked at my phone after the film, and apparently some comics come out where Darth Vader fucks a girl. He gets a girlfriend. I don't know. Something's happened in the Darth Vader comics. It's very weird, and people would not shut up about it. So
Pretty interesting. I mean, it's not like the DC universe has you see Batman's cock in it once, but in this, like, what couldn't they do? What couldn't they do?
whose cock will we see?
I mean, we get the implied Banner cock.
I'm finally glad that they settled that Captain America did not die a virgin. But they finally let Steve.
Yeah.
fuck.
Do you think in that alternate universe he has children?
I don't know.
Because I bet that would be interesting to bring back. Just the children of Cap and the children of
Who knows?
Tony.
It was interesting they didn't kill him. They
Yeah.
let him be an old man on that bench. I thought when they were looking off in the distance, it might be like a grave.
God, still on a bench.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was a very Return of the King ending. Very long.
But I don't know. I feel like this is paying off so many more like disparate plot threads.
It did remind me of that film in the scale of the final fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, the correct scene to go for a piss in is any of the ones on Asgard. Because they're not that good.
I don't know. I kind of liked it though. I feel like I liked it. I liked
I liked the idea of it more than the actual scenes
Yeah, to be
themselves. I felt they were a bit clunky.
But it's kind of interesting that like they do time travel, and like two of the people they go see, Ancient One and Thor's mum, they both like see through it. They're like, oh, you're doing some time travel bullshit. I get you. You know. Okay. The one thing that would have been like even more master plan, my machinations lay undetected, is if it had been one timeline and you go back and realize that the film has, like, the entire MCU has moments where you could have seen them coming back from the future into the past,
Well,
and no one noticed it.
as Back to the Future being one of my favourite films, obviously you don't want that. Because
Okay,
Back
so
to the
shit.
Back to the Future 2 does that,
Wow.
and it kind of like I
Does
don't
it kind of ruin it? Is it
It's-
kind of just like you see it coming? Because I feel like in Arrival it
No.
works.
yeah, in
but-
Arrival it works because it's a standalone film, but like,
Yeah.
because the only real way to do that is to retcon a bunch of events to actually like a bunch of,
To have been like secretly the Avengers from the future.
I don't like that. And also, if you're doing that,
okay.
you have to do past effects of future time travel, which
Which-
wouldn't have worked.
Yeah, to be fair, that is true. But the thing
I
is,
mean, that stuff that I'm not the biggest fan of, like
Yeah,
because
I
they
don't know.
mentioned all the films in which
That-
I love the amount of time
that would have
travel
been
films
such a like, oh, they are actually like four-dimensional chess geniuses. But I think the way they do it this way is really good too.
Die Hard.
Yeah, it just reminds me of It just reminds me of that one Futurama like series of episodes / film where Bender appears. He's like, "Yo, I'm Bender from all the way at the end," at like the beginning of the film, and he just does something like obscure, and it's like, oh man, that's funny. I like this. That isn't. It wasn't. It didn't. Even though it didn't feel like a weird like time loop kind of loop thing. It feels a lot better.
It's better than Loop, that's for sure. Alright, so
What a 6 out of 10.
go see Avengers Endgame. Thank you for listening. If you made it through like an hour and 40 minutes of people who've sort of seen a film once and had very little sleep, discussing their first thoughts before like it's entered the cultural atmosphere until like the important like the moments become infamous. You know, the conversations and like
I have no idea what's gonna become a meme from this film. Like I had a feeling from Infinity War that like the whole people getting dusted is gonna be a meme.
You don't really know what's gonna enter the cultural conversation. Like I mean I'm very sure my opinion on this will change. I think it will grow, but like I mean I'm not gonna stay in my bubble. You know, I'm gonna see the film again. I'm gonna think about it. I'm gonna talk to people who aren't gonna like the film. I'm gonna read criticisms of it.
What the
watch
backlash
videos.
is gonna be. Do you think people will say it was too fan servicey?
Maybe. I mean,
But-
if you're not on board with the Cat Mjolnir thing, like
Yeah, I
That's
feel
the
like
biggest
I
moment.
feel like there is an Ethan-esque critic group that will be like, oh, that's too fan servicey. That's just too doing what the
the thing
audience
is,
wants.
the general critics, like people like Peter Bradshaw from The Guardian, who thanks for spoiling a lot, Peter. I know you can't help yourself. Like, anyway, I shouldn't have read this review. I knew you spoiled things, but I did. He's very much a traditional film guy. He doesn't really like the Marvel films. He thinks they're okay. He gave this 5 stars and was like, this is like the biggest, this is the most blockbuster ever made.
Okay.
And Robbie
fair
Collin was
enough.
like, this is a blockbuster about the nature of blockbuster story. Like, I think critics, it's generally well received.
Okay.
I did read.
But Ethan won't like it though.
I think he'll. I don't know.
He won't like it. Like,
he won't like it as much as us. I think.
To be fair,
He's got this weird
like,
thing
he would
where.
give it an 8 out of 10. I'd be like, you fucking hate this.
Yeah,
film.
he's got this weird thing where a 7 out of 10 isn't good. Whereas I think a 7 out of 10 is still liking the film. Like people are
No,
generally.
to credit to his opinion, in case he's watching, he says he wouldn't recommend it, even though he says he doesn't recommend his time with it.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't regret his time. With
I think
it.
he'll probably enjoy it and give it a 7 out of 10. He'll have problems with it because he doesn't. He'll have problems with it.
Yeah, it's weird. It's the fact that
If you're not
there
sold
are
on
the
them-
there are the two sides of it. Pulls some left turns, but it's also really fancy.
But if you're not sold on the whole Marvel thing, this still is a Marvel movie. It's different.
Yeah.
It still is. So if you're not that, depending on how much you give a shit about it, if you don't give a shit about Iron Man, when Iron Man dies, you're not going to care, are you? It's almost.
That is true, but I don't know. I feel like this is almost like it is more than a film. It is an event that will be looked back as like, oh man, this is like, you know.
It's the first of its kind. I felt like Infinity War was very much an Empire Strikes Back, but this is like what if Return of the Jedi was fucking like incredible and set up like millions more Star Wars films, you know, like. This is almost unprecedented.
Do you think
But I did have
they have caught lightning in a bottle? And do you think they will ever be able to do like a decade spanning like saga again, or will it not work the second time?
I kind of want them. They're never going to stop because why would they stop? Because they can do this forever. But people aren't going to be interested forever.
Yeah, I feel like they should pace it well though.
I almost wish
If they paced it well,
I almost
it would
wish they
work
could
forever.
end on a high note, but like this. I want them to take a few years. I want to take it slow. Do some smaller films. Do like a Black Widow prequel. Do like a smaller scale Doctor Strange fighting his friend from the first one. You know, like not a universe.
Doctor
ending,
Strange isn't very small scale
No,
though.
just him fighting his friend, though. You know,
Fair enough.
him dealing. We get to see more of that magic world. You know, that's pulling the strings behind the scenes. Like just some smaller stuff. You know, like Black Panther. Like I know Nakia, who's like the character that this film neglects, is actually is traditionally a Black Panther villain. You know, Lupita Nyong'o is one of the best actors on the planet alive. Seeing her as a villain would be cool. You know, I don't know. Just do some smaller stuff.
Yeah.
And then maybe start to tease something. Like tease like the X-Men. You know, it's like a.
Yeah.
Just let people calm down from the excitement of this.
Yeah,
You know?
I do think there is a cultural like.
People
Like,
are getting a bit bored.
if you try to like, even like if they try to do a film that was this much of an explosion, like even in 2 years would be a bit too soon.
Yeah, because like I'm not the biggest fan of huge battles at the end, but this one really worked for me. Apart from like, the first time my brain saw it was like, nope, you just didn't want to comprehend.
Don't have the rendering power to imagine this.
Because
scene.
Aquaman ends with a probably a bigger fight than this. But you literally don't know what's going on. It's awful. Whereas at least this you can slightly follow it. Yeah. All I know is that I had a lot of fun. I laughed a lot in the film. Like not even like just the funny jokes. Just I'd see something like Captain America go on the left and just be like, these cheeky bastards.
Yeah.
It's basically like a roller coaster ride through the films. It's fun. It's fun. I had fun with it,
Yeah, so many just the fact that it just showed me the things that I wanted to see, like Cat Pod and Mjolnir. That was like,
two people talking about one film is longer than like podcasts we have like 3 and 4 people talking about 2 things.
Yeah, but to be fair, like most things, they aren't a conclusion to something that has been a decade in the making.
That's true.
Like,
it's so annoying it's 11 years, not 10.
Well, I mean, it's that one that Doctor Strange shows his finger up. I've got something that we have to do, right? But first of all, all right. I've been scouring the internet for funny jokes about this film that I'm going to steal credit for. I'm just going to say that now. All right, Crisp Rat ruined everything in Infinity War. A real rat saved everything in Endgame. We just forgot about Noob Master 69.
Oh my
who
god!
Gets threatened by Thor.
He's gonna be the new big bad, and they're gonna pay it off.
Do you remember too? He's like, the fact that I was insulted by Thor sent me on a downward spiral.
They're in an abusive relationship, and their abuser gets returned by the dusting.
Oh yeah, his life was better without. Okay, this is a great one. It's like when Doctor Strange held up his finger to show that it was the one timeline where they survived. I thought it was the signal for Ant-Man to go up Thanos' ass and become big.
I really wish this film was a year later because they would have made a joke. I wanted the acknowledgement, damn it.
Alright, this is someone that I don't agree with too much. That was saying the all-female shot was a bit too on the nose. I liked it, but they were like, and that scene where all the female characters back her up are so on the nose, I almost thought we'd see a CGI Harvey Weinstein charging alongside the bad guys.
In fairness, I did think, are they going to have a Scarlett Johansson looking down on them from heaven? Go get them.
Oh man, it's man. Okay. This is people complaining about the fact that Sam is Captain America 2. He's now I'm not saying Falcon is a bad guy or whatever. He just doesn't have the story to support the burden that he needs to carry, nor the physical strength to be Captain America. And then this reply, he can say the N-word. That makes him stronger.
Should we end it there?
Yeah. I think there's nothing we can do that can top that.
The real way this film should have ended is everyone dies in the battle apart from Thanos, and Thanos is on his last legs. He's if a 5'8" ginger woman in a black suit with a single pistol was here, I would have died. It turns out that she was the most important Avenger.
Oh man, no, it's the end. We see we zoom out, we see a hint where we see death, life, and eternity, and the fourth. I think that's all 4 of them. And they're all watching this cosmic scale happen. Keeping the forces of evil and good in check. They're setting up the next film where they fight Galactus or whatever, and then above them you just see Trevor pulling the strings of everything. He is the true mastermind behind reality.
Come on.